All right. Well, today I want to show you how to use the infill in your slicer, and I'm using the Bamboo Studio or the Orca slicer. I want to show you how to use the infill for more than just infill. You know what I mean? I want you to consider using it for a feature in your overall design. So I gave an example in a previous video, and from what you can see, this is almost identical to it, but as you can see, both sides are open, and you see the patterns there, and it's for a purpose. It's for ventilation. This will have a lid on it, and I put desiccant in there, and I can recondition it that way. But as you can see, I mean, the ventilation is part of the design, right? Now you can model this up and I use Fusion 360 like many of you do. You can model it up and put your pattern of whatever holes or clearance, whatever you want on there, right? And that's the way it will be when you print it. Well, this way, if you're going to do it with the infill, let me show you. So you can see what I did in Fusion 360 here. Here's the assembly, and this is the cradle part. And you can see with this, I have these three sides are solid, right? Now, I put my own pattern on this section of the assembly of the piece. And let's go over, and here's the piece. So what I did, I just made this a solid wall there, right? So now, when I go over to the slicer, and you can see it showing up still as a solid wall there. And the trick is, on this one, I want it all the way through, right? Just as that example that I showed you. You can see I set the top layer here to 0. The bottom layer, let's go 0. And infill density, let's leave it at 15. And it's on honeycomb, so you have your choice of whatever pattern you want. I'm going to stick with honeycomb for now at 15%, and let's slice it. So you can see the pattern shows up, and with the top and the bottom layer turned off, it's all you see is the infill, right? So with this way, instead of modeling it in 360 and having your own pattern on there, I mean, it stays that way all the time, right? And this way you have your choice. Let's see, let's go back, let's try gyroid at 15%. There you go. So you still have your ventilation, it still works the same way. And that way you have your choice of the size and pattern that you want. You know, you're not stuck with whatever pattern you modeled into it in Fusion 360, right? So here's the next example. And this is a desktop printer organizer, right? To put in all your tools and pens and Sharpies, whatever, glue sticks, whatever you want in there. And you can see it is modeled the same way. It just has a solid bottom on it. Now this one, let's take a look at, I forget how thick I made this. Yeah, 0.178 inch thick. So it's kind of thick, right? But I did that for a purpose. So when you take a look, Now I could have done the same thing. I could put my own pattern, whatever I want, and it's going to be there whenever I'm ready to print. It's there, right? But here it is on your slicer. Now the same thing, but what I want it open on the top here. I want to be able to see that infill pattern, but I want an enclosed bottom, right? And the reason I want that, you can see my little tool holders here for Allen wrenches. When I slide that Allen wrench in with the pattern there, it will insert and drop into it, so it won't just slide around, right? If that makes sense. But let's go through here, and here's the top layer. We'll go to 0. And the bottom layer, I'm just going to have 2. It doesn't need to be that thick, right? And honeycomb and 15%. I will leave it there. And there we go. So there's our pattern. So now you can see whenever I drop an Allen wrench down in here, it falls into one of the cavities and it just won't slide around. Same thing with pins, or if I have a X-Acto knife and drop it in, well, it's not going to fall around. It's going to drop into one of those little cavities, and it's still solid on the bottom. And once again, if I decide I want a larger percent or a different percentage, well, I can control it right away instead of having to go off to Fusion 360 and change the model. Yeah, the model's already there. All I'm doing is just changing here. Well, that's kind of cool, isn't it? You can use the infill as a feature in your design. It's not just infill within the part, right? And you can find both of these models. I have them up on Maker World on the V3 Precision account, and on Printables also, if you want to take a look at there. And it's on the same thing, V3 Precision account. And I think I have the models in both ways, one with the solid bottom and one already sliced with with the solid bottom and the infill on the top. Yeah, so take a look, experiment with it, have some fun with it. Just let your imagination flow and see what designs you can use with the infill like that. It's kind of cool when you take a look at it. Gives you a lot more options, right? But well, I guess that's it for this video. So as always, thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe and watch for my next video.